It's called Cydonia, a complex region in the northern hemisphere of Mars, the subject of an intense emotional argument between believers and non-believers, an all-out war between independent researchers who believe the government is hiding dramatic proof of alien life and NASA scientists who rigidly deny it. Are these ruins of an ancient civilization? Could the secrets of Cydonia hold the mysteries of the Great Pyramids of Egypt, even our own ancestors? We traveled to New Mexico to meet with one of the world's foremost experts on Cydonia. Richard Hoagland is one of several scientists who have battled NASA over the years.
Look at this incredible geometry.
He believes the structures on Mars are way too organized, with too many specific angles in the structures and in their placement to be a natural formation.
The idea that nature randomly can produce structures that look like tetrahedra and then give us the geometry in their placement.
So you have pyramids arranged in triangles,
which are tetrahedral pyramids.
This is what started it all, the face. It appears in two photos taken by the Viking mission 22 years ago, a mile long, a half-mile wide, 1,500 feet tall, and a remarkable likeness of a human face.
The high sun angle looked incredibly symmetrical, much too symmetrical to be a natural feature. Nature doesn't work in symmetry.
Nearby, a complex known as the City, with tantalizing forms that hint of pyramids and other structures.
There is this remarkable geometric feature we call the fort. There are these little guys arranged at exactly right angles to each other.
Oh, that's a perfect square.
It's a hoax.
NASA has steadfastly ridiculed the concept that these structures on Mars could be artificial. We went to JPL to talk to Dr. Arden Albee, project scientist for the Mars Global Surveyor. He completely dismisses the idea. Do you see any pyramids here?
No, I'm afraid not. I mean, there are some of the hills have irregular shapes.
But do you see where that could go? Do?
No, afraid not.
No?
No.
It was ridicule. It was pejorative. It was absurd. It was giggle. It was, oh, come on, this can't be real.
And that still seems to be true. When asked about the geometric placement of the forms, Dr. Albee had this to say.
I could draw some lines going like this, but what does that mean?
Well, what if they're sort of precise mathematical angles?
People see what they want to see.
Hoagland has not been alone in his quest for the truth about Mars. In an independent peer review, Sonoma State University Dean Stanley McDaniel evaluated the data from Hoagland and other independent investigators. His report states, I became aware not only of the relatively high quality of the independent research, but also of glaring mistakes in the arguments used by NASA to reject this research.
There's something on Mars that's always made people very curious. It looks like a face.
It was hoped that new high-resolution images taken in the past few weeks by the Mars Global Surveyor would settle the debate once and for all.
Mainstream scientists say the face formation, the size of a mountain on Earth, is caused by a trick of light and shadow on natural features. Some trick.
But when the first image came out, it was very poor quality, dismissed as rocks and shadows by major news organizations. And little attention has been paid to the other two photos that have since been released by NASA.
This isn't science. This is a travesty.
Hoagland says the first new Cydonia images should be of much higher quality, and he may be right. This is a picture taken by Surveyor of another area of Mars. This is the first Cydonia image of the face. Same camera, same spacecraft, same planet.
A stunning difference between this part of Mars and Cydonia.
This is incredibly sharp. I mean, you can really see a lot of detail.
You can count the sand dunes down there.
And this is what the Cydonia picture should look like.
Of course.
So why such a big difference in quality?
They simply threw most of the data away, and they enhanced the hell out of what's left, which means you wind up with a grainy, noisy, execrable image which can prove nothing, which is what someone apparently wants.
It's the latest battle in what you might call a real-life war of the worlds. Raise priorities now! Ordinary Americans going head-to-head with the government, seeing red over what they claim is a NASA cover-up on Mars. This time, it all centers on this photo, a photo that even a NASA scientist admits has a strikingly human resemblance.
Ask any child, show them the picture, and it's a face. I think it's clear it looks like a face.
The protesters say NASA has refused to provide a closer look at the face, a look that might settle this one question once and for all. Was this face made by alien hands?
It should be on everyone's agenda as the first thing to find out.
It's very important to our entire civilization to know. It could change the entire face of the way we look at history of our world.
I will not be disappointed so long as they tell me the real truth.
This scene is only the latest episode in an ongoing saga of conspiracy theories surrounding our visit to one of Earth's nearest neighbors. They've been coming thick and fast since the Pathfinder probe touched down on Mars and began beaming back amazing photos like these. All of it, no matter how ridiculous, reflected a growing suspicion that the U.S. government may have faked the entire Mars landing. That suspicion was inspired by a decades-old story that the original moon landing was actually staged in the Nevada desert.
Free Cydonia! Raise priority now!
This latest protest is also based on an established theory, the face on Mars. 22 years ago, the Viking mission sent back the most detailed pictures of Mars anyone had ever seen. One of those pictures was this one, showing what appears to be a face on the area of Mars known as Cydonia.
As soon as I found the picture, I knew that it was real.
Engineer Vincent DiPietro works at NASA's Goddard Space Center in Maryland. He co-designed a computer program to enhance the face and was amazed by what he found.
You will see in the image that that in the eye cavity, there is what appears to be an eyeball.
Mark Carlotta was so impressed that he applied his own 3D imaging technique to the image. Then, DiPietro says, even more detail emerged.
And he was able to ascertain that there were teeth in both of the high-resolution photographs in the mouth area.
Re-image Cydonia!
Inspired by such findings, these people represent a minority that's no longer silent. Their leader, Patrick Kelly, says it's time for the government to explore Cydonia and resolve the mystery of the face.
The idea of life elsewhere has always been one of the great questions confronting the human race. Now, it seems, when we have some evidence of it, everyone backs off and asks, is it important? Why bother about it?
Some protesters believe the face could be proof of a long-standing relationship between Earthlings and ETs.
I think that there could be a link to our, I guess, extraterrestrial maybe ancestry, and it would be very interesting to know if that's the truth.
But the truth may never be known, at least not without a closer look at this part of Mars. And even NASA scientist Dr. Christopher McKay admits there could be a major discovery awaiting us.
If it was carved by an intelligent beings and we had proof of it, that would be shocking. It would certainly force us to revise everything we understand about Mars.
Christopher McKay believes the face will eventually prove to be a natural phenomenon, but Vincent DiPietro disagrees.
It is too highly detailed and looks like a facial feature to have been completely formed by nature, and at least ought to be looked at as having been something that may have been done by intelligent creatures.
Meanwhile, NASA officially continues to downplay the potential significance of the face. They say they haven't investigated the area of Cydonia because it's not scientifically important. There will be another chance for NASA to take a closer look at the face in the next few months, when the Mars Global Surveyor takes high-resolution pictures of the planet. And these protesters want them to do just that.
I'm just supporting the effort to get specific images of Cydonia to prove once and for all whether they're tricks of light and shadow or whether they're actually there. Better resolution images will do that.
Those protesters may be onto something. An American spacecraft orbiting Mars has discovered that the planet's actually surrounded by a magnetic field that protects it from rays that would normally kill off life. Scientists say it's yet another sign that there could have been life on Mars.
This is architecture. It's over. This is architecture.
Richard Hoagland and other independent scientists say this complex of objects contains artificial shapes, too organized in their placement to be natural formations, that they are possibly ruins of an ancient civilization. These images offer tantalizing suggestions. On the left, an aerial photograph of the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. On the right, one of the formations in Cydonia.
You can actually see that if you draw the lines between here and the crossings, that you're looking at a pyramid.
NASA has steadfastly ridiculed the idea.
They're perfectly natural. I mean, these are just ridges and valleys, gullies.
The Space Act demands in law that NASA publish results freely from various missions.
Hoagland, perhaps NASA's loudest critic, says the agency has been far from free with its data and believes it is hiding information from the public and independent researchers. But why? The answer may be in a report done by the Brookings Institution some 30 years ago, a report with an ominous warning.
What Brookings said was that the most disturbed elements of society, if we ever encountered evidence of extraterrestrials in terms of ruins or something like that, would be the scientific community itself, because they have the most rigid views of reality.
It's the scientists that can't handle it.
Exactly.
Cydonia has clearly been of great interest to the public and to independent researchers for years. But when NASA scientists sent the global surveyor to scan the surface of Mars, they had no intention of imaging Cydonia. That infuriated Hoagland and other researchers. Then an unforeseen adjustment in a solar panel changed surveyor's orbit, and new high-resolution pictures of Cydonia became a possibility. The first one a bitter disappointment that only added to the angry questions about NASA and how they dispense their data.
I would bet dollars to Navy beans this image is crap compared to the real one.
Hoagland says the first new image of the face is, well, lousy, and that the problem is not the camera.
Where did the light streaking come from? That's the first question. It's just lousy data. Which, in contrast to the other pictures he's taken of other parts of Mars, which are really astonishing, is weird. That's disturbing.
Why the difference in quality? Hoagland says the image has been tampered with, so we can't see detail very well.
Technically looking at this, all that's been done is to throw most of the imaging data away and then enhance what's left to produce a very noisy image.
What we had to do was to go in and spread the contrast in an intermediate level so as to get this out of that.
At JPL, surveyor project scientist Dr. Arden Albee explains it in a little bit different way, but it sounds sort of similar.
And all this is going to a different exposure, if you will.
Right.
Throwing away all the dark part and lightening it up and to get this contrast out of it.
Hoagland put NASA's first new image of the face through a computer histogram program, which shows how much information is in the picture and how it is distributed. He finds that more than 60% of the data is missing. 60% of the shades of gray have been removed from the image.
The normal home PC is demonstrating what are called 256 shades of gray, from lightest to darkest.
Right.
It's 98 shades of gray.
And there are supposed to be how many?
256.
Did you have to discard information or shades of gray or anything?
No.
Because some of these folks are saying that.
So what? I mean, they can say anything they want, right?
In spite of the poor quality, Hoagland says rectified versions of the first image show a massive tetrahedron to the south of the face. It contains uniform ridges.
You can see that each of these little guys is the same width. And it's an absolutely straight line, and each one is bing, 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 bing.
From the third new image, Hoagland sees a five-sided pyramid containing a honeycomb pattern.
And if we go down to the bottom, where I've actually done a blow-up, you'll see that this structure actually has the partitions of walls and rooms without roofs. This way and this way at right angles.
Yes, you can see that.
That's all you need to see. Nature does not do this. It certainly doesn't do it in 3D.
Hoagland says these patterns in the southern part of what's known as the city are remarkable.
These are individual, again, room size, house size cavities with partitions between. And see these lines? See these little white lines?
Yes.
Then look at right angles. You have linear patterns of the lines.
Linear patterns that Hoagland says do not appear in nature.
See the shadows? Mm-hmm. These are 3D structures.
It looks really honeycombish to me.
Exactly.
What else does sophisticated enhancing of the new images show? Uniform lines in an area they now call the Gila Monster. Perfectly round formations. The sun glinting off what may be geometric patterns. And an object that Hoagland says resembles a castle.
Look at the windows. Look at the regular windows. Look at the portals. Look at the straight lines. Look at the lattice work, the indentations. All stunning, regular architectural geometry of an object that's sitting on the buttress of the Giza-size pyramid in the city of Cydonia on Mars.
The unmanned Mars Observer carried some of the most sophisticated equipment ever sent into space. The observer's mission was to conduct a comprehensive photographic survey of Earth's nearest planetary neighbor, Mars. But while on approach to the Martian surface, the observer failed. Curiously, one area the probe was supposed to be photographing at the time was a controversial region called Cydonia. Pictures taken in 1976 seem to show artificial structures in this area. Just when the observer seemed to be moving in for a closer look, NASA said, technical malfunction, no more pictures.
It's quite possible that NASA knows more about anomalous structures on Mars, possible extraterrestrials, even structures on our moon, that they're not telling us about.
There is sufficient evidence to indicate that some of the objects on Mars may possibly be artificial.
NASA's position is that nothing has been constructed on the surface of Mars. The face and pyramids that appear in the 1976 pictures are just tricks of light and shadow. But these computer-enhanced 3D images seem to disprove NASA's claims. They show that the face on Mars is clearly visible, no matter where it is in relation to the Sun.
I was quite interested with the first photos and release of the face on Mars. But particularly, I thought it was interesting the pyramidal structures. And said some of these pyramids appear to have even a central stairway running up and down them. The more we look at these structures, the more we can see that there's something amazing here.
Some researchers believe that NASA is withholding important photos and data taken in the Cydonia region. They suggest NASA created the observer malfunction story to hide what could be the greatest archaeological discovery of all time.
If some people want to go far beyond the edge of what's accepted in terms of imagery, see patterns on the rocks of Mars or on the moon or in the rings of Saturn, my view to that is mazel tov. Go ahead, do it. Try it out. Make your proposals.
Stan McDaniel is a retired professor who has conducted an in-depth study of the Mars structures. He is intrigued by the seemingly deliberate placement of the face in relation to the pyramids.
These objects, if you measure carefully from the tops of the 5 that surround this city square point, you find an almost perfectly symmetrical pentagon.
If NASA does have new information about these reportedly artificial structures on Mars, why are they hiding it from the public? An advisory report from the Brookings Institution, a Washington, D.C.-based think tank, may hold the answer.
There is a section on what might occur if evidence of extraterrestrial existence was found on other planets. They said that NASA or the government might want to consider keeping the information from the public. The reason being that it could cause widespread social unrest and possible deterioration of government control.
The official NASA position is that there is no cover-up. They insist Mars Observer suffered a catastrophic electrical failure, rendering it inoperable.
It did not lose transmission. They turned it off. And they turned it off after the instructions for going into orbit had been uploaded to the spacecraft. It was possible then that the spacecraft would go ahead, follow out those instructions, and go into orbit.
Before we start saying how these rocket scientists messed up, and they did mess up, we have to keep realizing just how tough these projects are, that we're doing things out there in space every time we do it that no one even thought was possible a few years or decades ago. These are really incredibly tough missions to accomplish.
The debate may end in 1996, when NASA plans on launching a new Mars probe. This may be the second chance ufologists are hoping will prove the existence of an ancient civilization on Mars.